So doing something a little different today. Making a little video, I guess it's more about me, and it's in response to a call out from my friends Paul and Carrie. Paul, the president of the local Glass City Crawlers Off-Road Club, and on his own personal Borderline 4x4 YouTube channel, he did a little call out, wanted other members to kind of say a little bit about themselves and how they got into off-roading and stuff like that. So this is in response to that. So thank you, Paul, for the call out. So first off, I'm a drag racer. I'm 47 years old, I guess. And I've been drag racing since I've been 16 years old. Always been a car guy. Built lots of cars, lots of trucks. I really only got into off-roading kind of by accident. Got my first four-wheel drive anything would have been in 2001. I ordered a brand new 2001 Ford Ranger 4x4, a little Edge, fun little truck. I had taken a job transfer and I was driving 70 miles one way up north, and I needed something I could get to work every day in. I actually drove a 70 Torino station wagon, or I had an 89 Fox Body Mustang that I drove in the winter on the expressway all year round. So I finally broke down and decided to get myself a 4x4, went and bought a brand new Ranger, and a guy that I worked with, actually a younger guy, lived a couple towns up. He had a real big F-250, lifted, big tires on it, lived out in the country, and one day he just invited me to come out with him and his buddies and go play in the mud out in the farm fields on some friend's property. I thought, well, sounded like fun. I'd never done it before. So tagged along with my brand new Ranger, went out there with a whole bunch of trucks twice my size, and had a blast. Never had any experience off-roading. Couldn't believe what that little Ranger could do. I mean, going through mud puddles and mud bogs that I didn't think I had a chance getting through. I played around so much that day, I completely plugged the radiator with mud and overheated it. This was a brand new truck. So I learned about that real quick. And winter came and my drag car didn't really need anything done to it. I had nothing to do, so I started off-road and got a little more confident as the different times went on going out. And eventually I got rid of that truck, and I bought an older one. I bought a 99 Ranger. And about that point, I was about 10, 12 years ago is when I met Paul and Carrie Porter, and among some other people too. And at a local spot we used to go wheel at, and met them with all the other Jeep people, and I was always kind of the odd man out, always the guy had to be different. And I was like that with my drag racing back in the day, you know, before Fox Body Mustangs were the it thing. That's what I was into. I did a little bit of autocrossing. I got into Mercours, which probably most of you don't even know what that is. So, and like I mentioned my 70 Torino station wagon. I definitely like to be different. So I took the Ranger and went out with the guys in the Jeeps and realized real quick that I either needed to step up my game or I was getting left behind, because a 99 Ranger definitely wasn't going to cut it stock. So, you know, I did the cheap little probably 2-inch lift on it, 32-inch tires, put lockers in it front and rear, put a winch on it. Then I had to upgrade the motor, the 4-liter. I put ported heads on it, a comp cam, and different rocker arms, and did all kinds of stuff to it. And that truck was a beast. It really held its own. Real happy with it. The weakest part was the transmission. After about 3 failed transmission rebuilds, I finally gave up on it and sent it down the road. So that led to bigger and better things. I bought my first Bronco 2. It was an 84 bone stock, little 2.8 carbureted motor, 3-speed trans. 4-wheel drive didn't work when I got it. It didn't even have floorboards in it. I had to lay a piece of plywood and a milk crate in it to get it home. and went ahead and I replaced the floorboards, firewall to the back seat, put some seats in it, Rhino-lined the interior, and daily drove it. I only had it for about a summer, so I never really did do any wheeling in it. I passed that one along, and that's when I found my first probably serious off-road truck was my 90 Bronco 2. And I purchased that dirt cheap as a broke down truck, but it already had a James Duff Stage 3 lift on it. And that's what kind of started it all. A serious truck with a real suspension system on it. I ended up wheeling it with the stock drive line in it for a couple of years, I think. Upgraded from 31s to 33s, eventually to 35s. I did my first V8 swap on it, put in a fuel injected 302 in the truck, the C4 automatic, upgraded to an 8.8 rear end, welded rear diff, and I beat the snot out of that truck. Just had a blast with it. We took it all over. At that time, Bundy Hill in Michigan was just opening, so I was there from the very first time they were open, breaking trails there. Wheeled the heck out of it there. Took it to the Badlands, took it to Rocks and Valleys. Seems like right around that time was when everything really started coming together in this area for off-roading in Michigan, really. Now we have a lot more options, and you know, since then we've discovered all the pleasures of going down south too. So I've been to Wellsville, only riding shotgun. So I hope to fix that here shortly. Get down there, do some wheeling of my own. So wheeled that 90 Bronco pretty hard. We put it on its side, rolled it a few times, and caught it on fire. And at that point, it was so beat up, it really wasn't worth fixing anymore. So I decided to piece that out, and that's when I bought. If you ever been around me or been over here, you've heard people reference the Truggy. The Truggy was an idea I had. Longer wheelbase truck, 83 Ranger, shortened it a few, like 7 inches, full width axles. I took the drivetrain from the Bronco, I put that in the truck, the doubler. Kind of going for a do-all vehicle, which may have been its undoing. My idea was keep stock 350 gears in it, sitting on 38-inch tires, both a doubler, no overdrive. I thought I could wheel it, and I could daily drive it, street drive it, and it would be fine. In the long run, probably wasn't the best way to go for that. The truck is just way too big, too wide. It's a regular cab, not a lot of room in it. At that time, passenger space wasn't really an issue for me. I didn't really care. Now, definitely passenger space is a must with me, Lisa, the dog. The Bronco 2 definitely fits the bill a lot better now. So, Truggy, I get a lot of crap from people harassing me about not finishing it. I kind of put about 2 hard years of work into it, and it's been sitting for about 4 now. So who knows? Maybe down the road I'll get back to finishing that. May go a different direction with it. I don't really need 2 serious off-road trucks. Old Gilligan here seems to do everything I've ever asked of it. Really, it does it well. So I really can't see the need for having basically a trailer queen. So who knows? We'll see what the future holds for that truck. So anyway, to back up a little bit to about 4 years ago, when I was building the Truggy, I stopped, and the drag racing bug bit me hard again, and I started working on my 88 Ranger drag truck. I built that in about a year, started doing some serious racing with that for a couple years, and I crashed it. Had an accident at the racetrack, totaled it out. I ended up picking up my Thunderbird, which is in some of my other videos, as is the Ranger as well. And then I built my Thunderbird, and that was kind of a do-all car, daily drive it, take it to work, race it at the track. I had a last 4 years just playing cars. I built a few other cars for other people, a couple trucks. Really kind of got out of the whole four-wheeling for about 4 or 5 years. Didn't really do much of anything. I made like maybe one trip to Silver Lake in my stock pickup truck, just as more of a vacation. So I finally got the bug, actually this time last summer, on the Glass City Crawlers Facebook page. I just kind of made a joke about I need to find me a beater, find me something cheap that I can throw together and just kind of go out with everybody. I missed seeing everybody, missed being out in the trails. So man, I was surprised at the response I got. People sending me links to vehicles for sale, and you know, they know someone that's got this and got that, but of course me being the token Ford guy, had to be a Ford. F-150, full-size Bronco, early Bronco, Bronco 2 Ranger. I really didn't care. If it was the right vehicle, it would tell me. And man, I think Daniel is his name, member of the club, mentioned that his I believe stepfather had a Bronco too, and he needed to get rid of it. And the only catch was it was actually on Put-in Bay, which is an island out in Lake Erie. And hadn't run in about a decade, and couldn't really get nobody to come take it away because of the cost involved with bringing a tow truck or truck and trailer on a ferry over to the island just to get it for probably only what it was worth of scrap. So I talked to him and we made a deal, and me and my buddy hauled a truck and trailer over there to the island, checked it out, and I think he kind of undersold it. It was in better shape than what he described, which I was happy about. So I paid $150 for it, and sat in the backyard for a few months, and then Christmas of 17 is when I pulled it in the garage on my Christmas break from work, and we blew it apart. And you can see all the other Gilligan build videos on my page, 20-some videos of every step of the way. It took about 5 or 6 months to get it to where it's at. Complete V8 swap, fuel injected, C4, Dana 20, straight axle, Dana 44, locked, 9-inch rear with a spool, Molly shafts, it's got RCVs in the front, custom bumpers, tire carrier, winch, got 35-inch BFGs. It's pretty much all the vehicle that I wanted my first 2 Bronco 2s to be. This is what I always envisioned that my other ones would have been someday. I'll be a little bit nicer to this one, so hopefully it lasts a little longer. But I absolutely love this turd. It just flat out works. You know, you get little bugs here and there every time you take it out. That's part of the game. Nothing major has happened. I've been pretty much exclusively using company James Duff for their suspension parts, V8 swap kit, and pretty much everything else is just pretty much fabricated. Super happy with the truck, been having a blast. We've had it out probably 4 times since it's been finished, and had a blast, and I'm really looking forward to going out with the club and doing some more serious hardcore wheeling in Wellsville, Ohio. Paul was asking about, talking about, you know, bucket list trips, things you always wanted to go do, and one of them's going to be a reality here. I've always wanted to go to Drummond Island in northern Michigan, and we're on the books for this May, going with the club and going to Drummond Island. That's going to happen. Something I've always wanted to do. So that's one, and the other one obviously would be going out to Moab. I'd love to go out there and run the trails out there, just see the scenery, and I could see the next year or two us putting something together for that as well. So we're definitely not. It's definitely within reach now. I feel like I have a vehicle that's bulletproof enough that as long as I don't get stupid, we can have a good time out there, and it wouldn't be a wasted trip. So those are my 2 bucket list trips, and we're gonna make them happen for sure. especially with this this group we got here in the club. Awesome group of people. I know I dish out a lot of crap about all the Jeep speak. Just kind of me having fun with, you know, being probably one of was it maybe 3 or 4 of us Ford guys, maybe only a couple other ones that aren't Jeep guys. So we're definitely in the minority. So I always kind of like razzing everybody and, you know, poking them a little bit just to remind them that, you know, not all just Jeeps. You know, we have other things out there too. So, but it's all in good fun. I enjoy it. Great group of people. Love going out wheeling with them, and I can't wait to do a whole bunch more. So yeah, so I think that pretty much concludes this in my story, I guess. Paul did ask to keep this going with a call out of my own, and I would actually like to call out a member that I would almost say is almost a celebrity around here. I don't know anybody that doesn't know this guy, that he doesn't get seen once a day. The guy is pretty much fearless off-road, and I'm pretty sure that his own vehicle is probably scared to death every time he sees him walk out of the house with the keys in his hand. And I honestly don't know a whole lot about his past. I've wheeled with him, I rode with him, but don't know a lot about his backstory. And I got a feeling it might be kind of interesting. So I would like to hear more about our own Jim Falbo. He's had a couple cool Jeeps. Dude's got no fear for sure. So I'd like to see what Jim has to say, and what are Jim's bucket list trips? What would he like to go do? So with that being said, I guess that's the end of this video. Hope this turns out kind of neat. If not, skip it. Thanks, Paul, for the call out. It's kind of cool. Appreciate the interest, and like to know that people care. It's kind of cool. So, Jim, looking forward to yours, and we'll see you all on the trail.